as chilling. Today we're talking about the original snowbird, Articuno. This is a Pokemon that my wife has wanted to see me talk about for a long time, and to be honest, I think Articuno's got potential. I said this back in the transfer list video that with terrestrialization, Articuno might actually be able to do something. But then I looked into it a little bit further, and then I realized I might have been a little overly optimistic, but I digress. Articuno is a really cool Pokemon, no pun intended. It's an ice flying type here, which means we are immune to ground, we resist bug and grass, and then we're weak to fire, electric, and steel with a 4 times weakness to rock. Now, this is going to be one of the few times where I actually think Tera Ice might be a viable option for a Pokemon here. And the main reason why I'm saying that is because instead of hail, we have snow in Generation 9, and there are a lot of Snowscape users there to set snow. We have Abomasnow who still sets snow, and then we have Slowking who gets a brand new move, Chilly Reception, to set snow. And why am I talking about snow so much? Well, snow increases the ice type's defense by 50%. It's the mirrored counterpart to sand, increasing rock type's special defense by 50%. So we might be able to do something here with Articuno. As far as our stat breakdown goes, we have 90 HP, 85 attack, 100 defense, which that would get a 50% boost right there with the snow, 95 special attack, 125 special defense, and 85 speed. Now, here is one thing I will say. Articuno lacks the firepower that Moltres and Zapdos both have. They each have higher offensive stats, but Articuno does have more defensive stats than they do. So, with a Tera Ice set, we might be able to live some hits and deal damage back over time. And on top of that, with Tera Ice, we would be doubling our Ice-type stab. As far as our abilities go, we have Pressure, which increases the PP consumed by moves that hit us. Or we have our hidden ability, Snow Cloak. So when snow is active, our evasiveness is increased by a quarter right there. Now, what we could do too to further boost that is we can run the Bright Powder item, which basically lowers the accuracy of attacks against us by 90%, not by 90%. That'd be too broken of an item. But we lower it by 10% right there. That's rather nice because now, although we might not have the firepower, if they can't hit us, they can't win. Or they stall us out. That's one of the other options too. But I digress. What I was thinking here is we could do like a little bit of a mixed bag with Articuno. We could increase our bulk with max HP. We go a bold nature, put 60 points to hit 140. That's an extra 70 points right there once the snow is active. We have 148 EVs into our special attack to hit 134 to try to get something that might be okay to use. We could just go heavy special attack investment instead, just bring that up to 252 if we wanted to. But before I do that, we'll just talk about the rest of the points we're there. We have 36 points in our special defense to hit 150, and then we have 12 to hit 107, so that if Tailwind's up, we can outspeed Dragapult, because if anything is going to outspeed Dragapult under Tailwind and do massive damage to it, it's this thing, because we have Ice-type stab right there. But if we want to look into a more offensive set, what we could do is we could take that out, put this in, and then switch that to a Modest Nature. We're already at 146 without a Modest Nature, but we do hit 160. That's a fairly respectable stat number right there as well. So you could go more offensive if you wanted to. We have Blizzard here as our main attacking option. It is a spread move, but with Tera Ice, we double our stab, so we're at 220. We can't miss in the snow. On top of that, we have a 10% chance to freeze each target that gets hit with that. That could be rather nice. If we're playing a more bulkier Articuno and we decide that we want to not do as much damage with it and play a little bit supportive, we can go for Helping Hand on Articuno, and then that way Articuno's partner could do a little bit more damage there with that 50% boost off of the Helping Hand. We have Freeze Dry here because we can flip the ice-water dynamic where water would normally resist us and hit water types for super effective damage right there. And plus, with double stab from Tera Ice, we'd go from 70 to 140, which that's a relatively respectable number as well. And plus, you know what, hitting something that might expect to resist ice That's nice because here's the thing. If you hit something like, say, Gastrodon, which would normally be neutral, now you're hitting it for 4 times super effective damage. That can stack up rather nice. If you're going up against, say, something like maybe Iron Bundle, well, you're hitting it for neutral now, and you're still going to do a lot of damage to that because Iron Bundle's got the special defense of a piece of paper. So that's a thing, too. It's got the special defense of wrapping paper. I wish I had thought of that first, but hey, I digress. That's what I was mainly thinking for our first Articuno, and obviously Protect does what Protect does best and keeps us around for an extra turn. So if we wanted to look into even more of a supportive option for Articuno right here, we get access to both light screen and reflect, so we can set screens, and you can make the case for reflect if you wanted to have it or if you didn't want to have it, because if you're already playing more towards a snow team and you have more than one ice type on the field, you're already getting a 50% boost to your defense that way, so you don't necessarily need the reflect, but the reflect would be good for the non-ice types on the team. But you could also make the case for, instead of reflect, you could run Tailwind, and then that way you can double your speed. If you're running dual screens, I highly, highly recommend having the light clay on there instead, and then that way you would increase your screens from 5 turns to 8 turns, so that way you're reducing the amount of damage you're taking for longer. And out of curiosity, do you get Aurora Veil? How does this thing not get Aurora Veil? That would have been perfect right there. Could you imagine how fun that would be, Aurora Veil Tailwind? Right there. That would have been nice. Why? Why, Game Freak? Why? But anyways, I digress. We'll slap the light screen back on there. But anyways, we could use Haze as well if we're concerned about special attacking targets or physical attacking targets that are boosting up with Nasty Plot or Sword Stance. We can go for the Haze, and then that way they just lose that. On top of that, if we didn't want to run Haze, we could run an extra damaging move, because right now I have Freeze Dry as the only option, but if we wanted to, we could make the case for Blizzard on this kind of a set as well. We could run Roost if we wanted to get HP back for us, because maybe Articuno's just going to sit there and be a dedicated Tailwind and screen setter right there. We go for the Roost to get our HP back. On top of that, what we could do too is we could also run Snowscape, and then that way, if we're worried about the snow running out, we can just reset it manually with Articuno and just keep it around as long as we want. Now, another idea here is that I was thinking maybe we want to run this on a non-snow team. Maybe we want to run it on a rain team. We get access to Hurricane like all the other legendary birds right there. We have rain here. Maybe for our Tera type, instead of Tera Ice this time, though, we go Tera Electric. I also just realized that we have the typing there on the screen, so we're just going to hide that to make it a little bit prettier. But what I was thinking here is we could go Tera Electric, and then that way we're only weak to ground. Naturally, we threaten ground types with Freeze Dry because ice is still super effective to ground despite Freeze Dry's effect of inversing the water. We don't really care about that. If at anything, any water grass type or water ground type, I guess even water grass type too, they better be scared. They better be scared of that Freeze Dry. On top of that, we could slap Terra Blast on there, and then that way we have an electric type option right there, and then we can just hit things with the electric damage. But like I said, because we don't quite have the full firepower that Zapdos or Moltres has, we don't necessarily have to run Terra Blast. We could run Protect. And like I mentioned on the previous set here too, we do have the Tailwind option, so we could do that. We can increase our own speed. We could go for a Covert Cloak to protect us from Fake Out. And the nice thing here is, if we're running this on a rain team, we don't need to invest in our hidden ability. We can just go with the default pressure. And then that way, if we're going up against something with moves like Close Combat or Urshifu's Wicked Blow, like if we're taking those hits, at least we're taking 2 of those PP points instead of 1. Now they're on a timer for how many times they can use it reliably. That is a nice thing as well. And as far as some support goes, what we could do with a more offensive Articuno, especially if we were, say, running like the max special attack variant right here, which does hit 161, if we wanted to, and this would require a lot of setup, we could baton pass some boosts into Articuno. And I got curious and I did some looking into it, and because Calm Mind Baton Pass is a thing, I wondered if Quiver Dance Baton Pass is a thing, and yes, Oricorio does get both. Oricorio learns Baton Pass at level 16, and it gets Quiver Dance by an egg move, so what you could do with Oricorio in Articuno is you could have a redirection mon, like say maybe Mousehold or a Mungus right there with Follow Me and Rage Powder. Or Choreo goes for one Quiver Dance. It gets a boost into both special stats as well as its speed, and then goes Baton Pass. You pass that into Articuno, and now you're at a +1 into your special attacks, special defense, and speed, and now you're going to just go. You're going to motor. And the nice thing here too is, as far as the breakdown for this goes, is we're a little bit on the bulkier side with our HP investment as well as our special attacking investment, and then we're just kind of divvying up the rest into our special defense and speed. If you wanted to do this on a snow team, you could go Tera Ice, and then that way you could go for the Snow Cloak, and that would actually be rather scary as well if you're going for Tera Ice on Snow Cloak with snow, because what you could do there too is, or Choreo gets the access to the Quiver Dance, Baton passes it into Articuno. Articuno now gets the evasion boost from the snow being active. Articuno could go for the Blizzard and then just land these massive double striking blizzards right there, and then potentially freeze the target if they're really unlucky. That's chilling. That's chillingly horrifying to think about. But hey, that's a thing. You could do that if you really wanted to. And as I mentioned, with Slowking being another means of setting up snow, it gets chilly reception. So basically what chilly reception does is it... I really like the description for this move. It tells a terrible joke, and the reception is just so bad that Slowking's like, okay, I'm just gonna leave, and it starts snowing as Slowking leaves. That's basically what chilling reception does, or chilly reception. But hey, the nice thing too is that synergizes really nice with Slowking's regenerator. So if Slowking took some damage, you would get some HP back right there. On top of that, if you wanted to, you can invest heavily into your defense stat as well as your special defense stat and your HP, just to try to make this thing bulky. And then that way, you take some damage, they don't get rid of Slowking. Slowking switches out with chilly reception. And then maybe what you could do is you have a different Pokemon come in that could be either a Slush Rush user, like say maybe Beartech. Let's just take a quick look to see what there is for Slush Rush as far as the filter goes. So you could do Beartech or Satitan right there. Unfortunately, Alolan Sandslash isn't here, but what we could do is we could use Satitan or Beartech. We get them in, we have the snow set up, and then from there we could just do heavy hitting damage. If we go with Satitan, that's a 113 attack right there. If we go Beartech, we could have access to a 130. So it'd be a little bit fast, or a little bit stronger than Satitan, but Satitan would be a little bit faster. So there's your options right there. They could switch into snow. And the nice thing is instead of running Covert Cloak if you wanted to, because I just had that there in case of fake out, if you ran an Icy Rock, instead of 5 turns of snow, it would be 8 turns of snow. So just imagine you have Articuno here who can't be hit. You have Satitan or Beartech who are now going fast under the snow with their speed doubled, just dishing out major hits, especially if you want to go Tera Ice with one of them two instead of Articuno. That could be fun as far as a snow team goes. But anyways, guys, I digress. Let me know what you think down in the comments below, and I will see you there.